Voice of Indonesia.
Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. Welcome back to me, Ahmad Faisal. Today, we have a special interview related to Belgian National Day and the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Belgium. Here with us at the studio of Voice of Indonesia, there is Belgian Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Frank Felix. Howdy today, Your Excellency.
Thank you. I'm very fine. I'm very happy and honored to be here.
Nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. With my best pleasure, I would like to say congratulations on your National Day.
Yeah, we are very happy to be celebrating our National Day. It's always a very special day for me and for the Belgians in general.
Okay. So, actually, what does Belgian National Day mean to Belgian people?
For us, the National Day is the day when we celebrate the day that our first king took the oath of office. It's about 1 year after we had our revolution for independence, and that took us 1 year to find a head of state. And in those days, we looked for a king, which was the normal way of ruling. And so our first king, on the 21st of July, 1831, he took the oath as the head of state of my government. And that's what we remember on that day. And we still remember the royal house, who is still ruling Belgium until today.
Okay. Your Excellency, talking about the history of Belgian National Day, this is also related to the traditions and celebration of Belgian National Day. Could you please explain about this, the traditions?
Yes, there are a lot of traditions that are specifically celebrated on that day. As I said, it's in honor of the royal family. So it's the one day in the year that the royal palace is open to the public, and thousands of Belgian, but also foreign tourists visit the royal palace, all the nice interior rooms of the palace, which is a long tradition that goes back almost 2 centuries now. On the same day, also the other official buildings of the country are opened, like the parliament, which is open to public. And it's a huge celebration, which has been for decades, when Belgians go to the streets, have nice food, celebrate together with music, with dance, with huge fireworks in the evening. So it's a national celebration that is been taken part of by not only the Belgians, but many tourists also these days.
Wow.
Because as it falls in the high summer of Europe, we have a lot of tourists in that season also. So it's a huge celebration of bringing people together.
Wow, all the people happily celebrate about the celebration.
Absolutely.
So how does the celebration of Belgian National Day reflect its culture and history?
Well, it does through many of these activities. We really try, apart from these official buildings, we also, the big musea, open their sometimes hidden treasures that they have. Some buildings that are not always opened are also specially opened on that day. And it's each year different one, so it keeps surprising the audience. So the long tradition that we have in art and culture that goes back to the Middle Ages is being celebrated on that day. We really try. All the things that make us Belgians are being highlighted that day.
Okay. Your Excellency, what about the people of Belgium who are in other countries?
Yes, we do a lot for them. We have actually 2 celebrations a year. We have what we call the King's Day, which is in November, which we also celebrate, and that we usually do for the foreign community and for the community of the country where we are based. But we have a specific celebration for the Belgians and the Belgians only, and that we do on our National Day, 21st of July, where we bring the Belgians together at a big party. Not as big as we can do it in Belgium, but it's a nice gathering together where we enjoy Belgian specialities as Belgian beer, which is quite famous, but also some of our national dishes, and of course a lot of Belgian chocolates. That's something we are quite famous for.
Nice to hear that. Well, still, talking about the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Belgium that have established their relations for 74 years. So how these relations grow at present?
Well, they grow very fast. And I'm quite happy to see that in all fields, not only economics, but also cultural and on an academic level, that we see an enormous growth. I mean, the trade figures are growing now with 40% a year, which is quite high. We are having more and more Indonesian students studying in Belgium. At any point, we have 600 Indonesian students studying in Belgium, and we have a huge list of thousands of alumni, Indonesian students that came back and are working here now, often in very high positions in Indonesia. Apart from that, also the cultural interchange is growing a lot. There is a growing interest in Belgium to discover Indonesia. We see the numbers of tourists rising. And in both directions, we see also more and more Indonesians visiting Belgium. And so I think the relations are on a very strong growth path.
So because of that, I can say the people contact also established because of that.
Absolutely, I think that's the most important. It always starts with people to people.
Yes.
You hear a lot in economy like business to business,
yes.
but I believe, as you mentioned, people to people is much more important, because that's where the seeds is being planted to grow into something substantial, and we see that in all these fields of collaboration.
Your Excellency, I'm interested what you said before about lots of Indonesian people, students who are going to school there. What about the scholarship that maybe your country or government give to the students of Indonesia?
Yes, there are a number of scholarships, because it depends in what type of education that they go. Most are in postgraduates. They study economy, but a lot of engineering, which is actually the first destination for Indonesian students. And often, if they are in postgraduate, they receive actually a salary while they are doing it. They are doing doctorates, postgraduates, all these kind of advanced studies. But then also scholarships are given. It's too difficult to mention all the difficult ways, because Belgium is a federal country where you have the federal government, also regional governments, which have their own subsidy and scholarship programs, and then the universities themselves has also scholarship programs. So there's a wide range of possibilities, and we're always happy to assist Indonesian students in questioning them and in helping them out. And we see that, as I say, a lot of them find the way to Belgium now, and we are quite proud of that.
Okay. Your Excellency, still regarding the bilateral relations that can be developed by the two countries, I got information that in May this year you met Sri Sultan Hamengkubuwono X in Yogyakarta, discussing about cooperation in education and culture. So how is the progress of the meeting?
Well, when I met the Sultan, which was quite an honorful meeting for me, he immediately talked about the fact that next year we will celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations between our countries, which makes us, within the European Union, the oldest partner of Indonesia. So to celebrate that, he said we should definitely do a lot of activities in the cultural field. So he said, I am planning to send multiple groups from artists, both painters, sculptures, but also music bands, dancers, even films. We will send a lot of them to Europe, and we invite the same groups coming from Belgium to perform here in Indonesia. So we're setting up now, together with my Indonesian colleague in Brussels, the Indonesian ambassador to Brussels, His Excellency Andri Hadi, we are setting up a system where we will coordinate all the activities that we will do next year, with the big help of the Sultan of Yogyakarta, which to every extent is the cultural heartland of Java.
Fantastic, sir. Well, Belgium is the 23rd biggest trade partner in Indonesia. How do you assess the possibility of increasing the two countries' trade sector?
Yeah, the trade, and we are quite happy with that number, because the 23rd, that doesn't look so big. But if you see the size of my country, we are a country of 11 million people. So then 23 becomes all of a sudden very big, because you see it per capita, then we are actually in the top 5 of the trade with Indonesia. So we are one of the main trade partners, and Indonesia is in Asia one of our main trade partners. And as I said, the growth figures are 40% a year and growing. I mean, it's I hope for next year to increase to 50% growth in trade between both countries. So it's going well, and I think it's because we have these person-to-person contacts that we organize. We had the big visit of Kadin from Indonesia to Brussels, where dozens of Belgian companies were present, interested in doing trade with Indonesia, in investing in Indonesia. And we are having more and more trade also from Indonesia through the big ports in Belgium. So we can only see this growth ever accelerating over the next years.
Sir, before we continue, another question. You said before that you have been in Indonesia almost 1 year. So my question is, what kind of Indonesian traditional food that you have already tasted maybe? Is there?
I am an enormous lover of Indonesian food. So one of the first things I did when I came here was to hire a very good Indonesian cook. And I asked him, I want you to surprise me every day.
Oh.
And give me an Indonesian dish that I haven't tasted before.
Yes.
We are now 10 months further, and not once did he offer me the same dish. So every day I have a different Indonesian dish over the last 10 months. Can you imagine the more than almost 300 Indonesian dishes I had? And I asked my cook, you must have come to the end now. He said, not even close. So this kitchen is so diverse with all the islands and the different provinces and even up to a city level. So the discovery of Indonesian food is so vast that it keeps for me an eternal discovery. And I love each and every one of them. Because the biggest compliment I can give to the Indonesian kitchen is that in these 300 dishes that I tried, there is not one I did not like.
Nice to hear that. Your Excellency, how did Belgium strengthen bilateral relations with Indonesia in the political sectors?
Yes, we have a lot of contacts. We are a bit lucky that Belgium also hosts the institutions of the European Union. So a lot of Indonesian politicians, when they travel to Europe, they come to Belgium, mostly to meet counterparts at the European Union. But because they are already in my country, we also have bilateral contacts at that point. So most Indonesian politicians have been many times, multiple times in Brussels. And so there they always have contacts with their Belgian counterparts. Even President Jokowi came last year in December, so 6 months ago, to Brussels, where he had a meeting with our king. And it was not the first meeting, it was the third time they met. Also, he had meetings with our prime minister. So there's a lot of really high contacts at the highest possible level between the heads of state that know each other very well. And again, this person-to-person contacts, even in the political field, help in establishing stronger relations.
All right, last question, Your Excellency. So what are your hopes for the future of relations between Belgium and Indonesia in the context of celebrating Belgian National Day?
I hope that this celebration that we have this year will bring us closer together. My hope is that both Belgium and Indonesia become first partners to each other, that we immediately have a good idea about what the other means. I think there is still some work to be done with the Indonesian public and with the Belgian public to get a better idea what both countries mean to each other. We can see that happening already in the field of commerce, trade, cultural, and on an academic level. But the big public, there is still some work to be done. And I hope that celebrations like we have on the 21st of July will be a little step in the direction that both populations get to know each other better.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time and attention to have special review today with the Voice of Indonesia.
Thank you very much for this honor and pleasure. Okay,
well, listener, that was our special review with Belgian Ambassador to Indonesia, His Excellency Frank Felix. I'm Muhammad Faisal from Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Voice of Indonesia.